All right. I think that's working.
We're
Here
on.
we go. All right. La 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 la.
Test,
That work
test,
for you?
test. Works for me, bro.
All right, dude. So how do you want to? What do you want to go by?
Whew, whatever.
Well,
Well.
if you're not gonna want to share your name, you can.
Well.
You could be.
No, yeah. I'm Eli,
Okay.
and that's the start.
All right.
I go to school in San Jose. It's called Andrew Hill.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna like
Put
legit.
them on blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conservatish episode 59. My name is Peter Feliciano. I am the host. I'm wearing sunglasses like I'm cool. I will go ahead and take those off. Just so that everybody knows that I'm not. You've listened to a bunch of them,
Yep.
I guess. We are, so no cussing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do no cussing.
The best you can do.
But we are going to put the high school on blast, I guess. So how did you find me on Instagram?
One time I posted a picture of like Abraham Lincoln quoting some anti-socialism stuff, and then I put hashtag Bay Area conservative, and then you followed my link and you liked my picture.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, oh, this guy it seems cool, and then I clicked on your page and I saw Conservatish, and that's how I found out about the podcast and about.
And now you've listened. Yeah, you've listened to a good amount of them.
Yeah.
But it's like I think we started talking because you have the unique experience of being not 100% liberal, but in the school in the Bay Area. It's gotta be hell of some kind, dude. So
Oh
what?
my God.
So okay.
I
So
don't
what?
know.
First things first. What? We know your school, I guess. But what grade are you in?
I'm a junior in high school.
Okay, junior.
Yeah.
It's 11th, right?
So 11th grade.
Okay, yeah. I'm not very smart, as you can tell. But you know that. Okay. And when was the first time you started to feel like, number one, you were kind of conservative as a kid, or conservative-ish, or whatever?
Yeah. So when I was like 13, 14, my dad bought me this pin, and it said like, I don't know, God bless America. And we've always been a Christian family, so it's like those values and just it matched together, and it formed my conservative views.
Right.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Okay. And then you kind of grew up through that, and then through other. I mean, was there any influence outside of your family that was kind of conservative, or
Steven Crowder?
Stephen? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, just like watching YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
because I knew that I was conservative more or less, then I would go and watch people debate about it and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube has been like a huge benefit. That's actually what happened for me, is that I saw a bunch of people talking crap on Facebook and Instagram about Milo, and then I just started digging a little bit into Milo, and I started realizing, like, okay, he's not Satan.
Yeah.
Like, something's off here. Like, it's not as bad as we're making it out to be, or at least people on Facebook were making it out to be. And then through YouTube kind of opened up, and I was like, oh, let me listen to Jordan Peterson. Let me listen to Steven Crowder. Let me listen to Ben Shapiro. Let me listen to all these other people. And then, I started to kind of open up. So I guess I was similar to you in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember what the first kind of backlash you felt at school was? Was it in junior high? Was it in high school? Was it this
My
year?
junior high wasn't, because they weren't that spirited, but here, man, oh man, they're like they have these rally days, and the thing is
What's
like
a rally day?
where we all get together and we go into the gym and we have a big old, I don't know, it's just like a parade type thing.
Okay.
But the theme of that one was, it was in a freshman year, by the way, 2 years ago, and the theme of that one was multicultural day or something like that.
Okay.
And so then I dressed up, decked out in American gear. I had my
Okay.
American socks, and I.
All right, so you were kind of. Do you feel like you were trolling, or do you feel like it was half trolling, half?
No,
sincere?
honestly, it was all sincere, because
Okay.
all I had was my American socks and just a like a flag of America. It wasn't like "Make America Great Again." I'm not gonna
Okay.
like go troll people like that.
Right,
but
right.
and then people were like, "Oh, how dare you represent our country in such a
Interesting.
time of where Trump is getting elected and stuff like that."
Ah,
And I was
see.
like, and so that's the. And then being a Latino community, it's like,
Right.
that's the backlash.
Right. Are you 100% white, or are you?
No, I'm Latino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm half Puerto Rican, half a little bit of German, a little bit of black.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I guess English as well. But yeah, I'm Latino as well, and so I actually have found that immediately when you start talking about not being 100% liberal, people immediately they want to put you in a box like very quickly. They want to know, okay, are you on our side or are you against our side? So okay, if I found out you're white, then I can get you on the whiteness. Or if I found out you're male, I can get you on the maleness. Or if I found out you're straight or you're not trans or you don't understand my marginalized experience, so I'm going to put you in a box, which is what they say that we're doing. You know what I mean? They say we're putting them in a box. They say we're. But anyway, so you face backlash from wearing American stuff.
Yep. And then after that, we created posters for raising awareness about social justice issues.
Okay, you and some friends?
And yeah, me and some friends. Well, actually, it was kind of like a group project for an English class that we did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so
so that's
we were making posters, yeah.
All right, so you were told to make posters for specific issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then my group, we did the Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, yeah, sometimes I don't necessarily agree with how these things are portrayed and stuff like that. Like how the burning of the flag when they used to do that stuff and all that. And then they're like, yeah, but it's such a powerful movement and it's beneficial. I was like, no doubt about that, but it's just the way they represent these things. And so then there's just always this backlash of, like, ideas and beliefs within my friends, within the teachers.
Right.
And stuff like that.
So do you remember specifically saying something that you didn't agree with when it came to Black Lives Matter? That
honestly, no, it was just mainly like the fact that because when the time it was going on, they were like protesting against.
It was a lot stronger a couple of years ago than it is
the
now.
pigs and all this. Yeah. And I don't agree with that because, cops are like, I don't know. I just feel like respect, I mean, there's some that are like, I don't.
Yeah, there's some pieces of crap, but I mean,
yeah.
That's something I was thinking about earlier today. I was hanging out with some La Raza earlier today, and it was fun. But I also because I know people who are Mexican, people who are Latino, as an example. I know that there are Mexicans that are not great, or have done bad things. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so there's nuance, there's context, it's more complicated, and that's something I talk about on the podcast a lot. Is the fact that if you think that all Mexicans or all black people are morally better than all white people, if you think all cops are pieces of shit, there's no great cops or no even in some of the cops who have made mistakes who are done been a little too rough or blah blah blah, if you don't think that then you're not number one, either you don't know any Mexican motherfucker or almost cussed. That one up. But
no, that's good.
If you think all Mexicans are all great, you don't know any Mexicans. You just don't. If you think all black people are morally amazing, you don't know any black people. You know what I mean? That's not to say that one is better than the other or worse than the other. I'm saying humans are humans. You know what I mean? People in any, I know Starbucks managers who I hate more than some police. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, how does it normally play out these days, or have you stopped kind of talking about it when it comes up, social justice stuff?
I'm the type of person that I'll never really give up on something. So but then again, I won't go trying to pick that fight either. I'll just be doing we'll be doing presentation, and it's not my fault. All the teachers here are liberal, obviously, and I laugh.
It's not even Los Gatos. It's not even. It's not even Palo Alto. This is some. Where is this? This is deep east South San Jose.
Yep.
I don't even because I usually see San Jose, South San Jose as the Blossom Hill, Cottle Road area.
Yeah.
But this is over east-ish.
East-ish, yeah.
Okay. So in this area, even in this area, all the teachers are liberal.
Yep.
Okay. Fun. And what is that?
I haven't found one. That's not.
Okay. All right. Have you found one that will secretly side with you at any point, or?
There's some that, because they've gone through stuff in the past, that they believe me, kind of I'm against abortion, kind of that stuff, and then they've gone through abortion and they're like, okay, I totally disagree with that, and I'm like, okay, me too. And then we can find commonalities, but most of the time, not really.
Do you ever find commonalities at group level? When everybody's having a discussion, if the discussion happens and you disagree with something, do you ever find them more apt or more willing to side with you, or do they have to do it secretly? Or do you know?
You
don't.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because they don't like accepting that they're conservative just because then they'll feel that they're gonna get grouped into the conservative,
Right.
viewpoint. Like I was talking about the economy, right? And we were talking about socialism versus capitalism in,
Right.
in English class.
Right.
And I made so many good points about like how capitalism, like, and that's another thing is like no offense to the people, but like
You can
they're
say offense to them. Wait,
less-
which ones are you talking about?
less
The
studious.
teachers?
The,
or?
no, the students in the
Oh, okay.
class. The teachers, they just direct the whatever the project.
Right.
But the students are like less studious than
They're less prepared than
Prepared,
you are.
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
And so then we were going over economics, and then I was bringing up these amazing points about how capitalism, not always, but
No. Yeah.
how socialism in Venezuela is not working and stuff like that. And
Right.
it's just like, I don't know, they seemed like they wanted to agree with me because they thought it was right, but then again, that conservative that liberal, my fault, that they had in them was just like,
Right.
pulling them towards not agreeing with me. It's just,
Right. I think the bottom line is that if I'm coming from, and I do this, and I know this from my personal life, if I'm coming from a place of feelings and not logic, which is important, you need to come from feelings as well from time to time. But if you're just coming from a place of feelings, it doesn't matter when logic comes in. It's almost like no. But even though I know the sky is blue, I feel like it's purple, and so I'll fight for it to be purple. You know what I mean? Like I'll fight for, because I really want it to be, and so I'll find a way to fit this logic into the feeling, or I'll just disavow the logic in general. And that's not I don't think that's a good place to live or come from in arguments, nor is it a good place to teach from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of feels like a disservice to you and the other students to come from that place.
Yeah.
Do you find that there are students who secretly side with you?
Oh yeah, some people, just because they've grown up, like their parents have grown up, like mainly. Okay, so the Latinos, definitely not. Like they're just like, you know what? No, I don't like you, mainly because of the president.
But I know a lot of Latinos who are actually pretty like Catholic and Christian upbringing, and I know some Latinos who are not down with the gay stuff, or they're not down with the trans stuff, or they're not down with the abortion stuff for sure. I mean, Mexico, there are a lot of states in Mexico that still outlaw abortion in a lot of ways.
And
so go ahead.
And on that, like, it's mainly people who like, they'll say, oh yeah, I don't like gays, but I'm so acceptive of them because they get to choose, or I'm not for abortion, but everyone else gets to choose.
I see. So they'll at least they'll say something like, it's a sin, but do what you do, type of thing. Okay. Do you find like, are there, because you seem pretty vocal about it, like you're not allowed, you're not afraid to like get out there. Okay. Do you find that there are hello? Do you find that there are students who are willing to kind of side with you at the public level? Are there any other vocal dudes or girls out there with you?
One.
Okay.
But he's been my friend since forever. But honestly, the only reason he sides with me is because he's anti-liberal. He hates the fact that they're crybabies, that they're whiners, that they're
So he's less like rah Trump, and he's more like screw these guys.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, and so then he'll side on, but also because he does that, he watches Crowder, and then he follows the beliefs,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you find like, so do you feel like you're more of the? Because I feel like for me, that's kind of where I'm at. I think I feel like I'm kind of more the guy who's like, I don't want to pick a side, but I know that this side is more insane, and so I'm more anti them than I am rah Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are some things that Trump does I like, some things he does I don't like.
Yeah.
But it's not so much like Trump is the savior. It's like these guys are,
nuts.
Yeah, it's really hard not to cuss.
Yeah.
It's easier this time than it was last time. I did an episode with Lily. Oh,
yeah.
Hello. We'll record an episode. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I'll leave you guys alone.
No, it's okay. Nice watch. All right. But I find like it's okay to come from that angle. Like,
yeah.
I'm a little less prepared than some of the other guys. Like, there's a guy who we've had on. Have you ever listened to the MAGA Mark episode?
MAGA Mark. Yeah.
So he's like he is prepared.
Like
he is like ready to like as soon as you cite any sort of
And
liberal law that worked
he'll be
out,
like,
he's like,
"Hmm?"
yeah. Because even when I say the thing that I disagree with Trump often is about like the fact that he's kind of anti-social, like he's kind of anti.
Yeah.
He's not polished, and then Mark will be like, "Well, isn't it good that he's not polished?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Like he's way more prepared than I am, you know, which I don't hate. You know, I need people around me, but I'm like, and you know this, I guess, but like, I'm like the host who doesn't know as much, like who's not like a Tucker Carlson or jumping in there just like I know all the facts and blah blah blah. Here we go. I'm much more like, can't we talk? Can't we be filthy? Can't we be joking?
Yeah.
Let's have a free speech, a safe space for free speech. You know what I mean?
No safe spaces.
Right. Well, no.
But yeah.
Do you find what about as far as safe spaces? Do you find that is there a safe space
Ooh.
movement at your school?
You know what? They no, not really actually, but
Good.
but they feel like because we are one, nothing's gonna happen to us. You know, like
What
that
do
there
you
will
mean?
never be
At your
a
school,
mass
or is that-
incident at our school because
Oh,
we're
like a shooting?
a gated community, and because
For the love.
and I'm just like, bro, even someone running from the cops can just come in here, you know,
Right.
bomb threat to anything, you know, and they're just like, oh, you know.
Have there been?
And
See,
I mean,
this is an
it's
interesting
hard,
topic. No, this is
and it's hard because there hasn't been. So it's
has
just
there,
like-
but have there been people at your, like who have gotten in trouble? Like, has there been anyone who like called in a bomb threat or threatened with a gun or anything?
No, and if there was, it was just like fake. It was like to get out of taking the SAT or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. One time I was walking to work, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I got hit by a car because then I wouldn't have to go to work? That's how lazy I am. But that's kind of screwed.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the way to kind of okay, so you have your friend who's kind of like do you feel like is he as prepared as you are for some of the fights, or is he more
Yeah,
trolling?
yeah.
Is he more trolling guy?
He's
Which both are important.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
both
yeah.
are important.
He's factual. I mean, he listens to a lot of stuff and he reads a lot. He's a reader, but
Okay.
then also he pisses people off. He'll just be like so troll. Like one time he wore a MAGA shirt to school, and that got so much attention. You know?
Did he get in trouble at school
No.
besides just the social, anger?
No, teachers gave him a bunch of crap about it. Oh, I'm gonna fail you, but like jokingly, but still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's just like
I actually had a teacher on. I don't know if you listened to the one. What's his Gradient, the one I did in New York a couple of weeks ago. But he's a teacher, and he talked about trying to like how do we, because he agrees with a bunch of the non. He's not a conservative guy at all, but he also is coming from the standpoint of understanding that he's in Dutch if he opens it up for discussion, that he could get in trouble if he allows other viewpoints to be shared, and he disagrees with that. Yeah. So I don't know how to, we talked about it. How do you move forward as a teacher or a student in this climate where there's almost they're waiting for you to do something wrong. They're waiting for you to have a different idea or a bad speak or bad think, waiting for somebody to do something. How do we move forward with that? I don't know.
Beats me, nah.
Right.
I do posters, like speeches, try to even just share the link to Crowder videos that I think are more on the respectful side, because some of his stuff can be a little taunting, but
Right.
yeah.
Have you been able to sway any of your other students? Maybe on like one issue, maybe?
On economics, I think I'm doing a really good job. I think that people are like, they're realizing a lot of the places that have tried socialism in the past, it hasn't worked and whatever, all free enterprise and the wants to make better products for the sake of money.
Right.
Money.
Right.
But on any other topic, I can't. I mean, I try. I'm still gonna keep trying, but it's hard.
But I mean, do you run into any of the ultra liberals? I feel like, and this is part of my experience too, where like I would be in more trouble if I also wasn't like if I was white. If I was white, I would be in a lot of trouble. But because I'm not white, their white guilt almost like counteracts, like it heads it off at the pass, where like they want to get mad at me for not believing the same things that they do. But then because I'm not white, they're like, I don't know if I should say something. I don't know. Like, do you find that your identity actually saves you in those instances?
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because then they'll be like, okay, you know what? You're one of the few Mexicans that are racist against their own people. I'll be like, why would? I'd be like, why? Why would I want to put my people down? You know. And I'm just like, it's
well, maybe that also part of that.
I mean,
maybe part of that is because it is a gated community, but at the same time, it is. This is East Side San Jose. There are a lot of Mexicans over here. So maybe is it other Mexicans who get mad at you more often, or is it white people?
the white population is like 3 in my school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's like, mostly Latinos that get mad at me, and Vietnamese people. It's nothing really.
They're busy doing math.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Vietnamese. I forget about San Jose, dude. I thought I got slipping, man. I was coming down. I was like, Lee's sandwiches was the whitest thing I saw. Everything else was like espresso, very good. I'm like, what the hell? How do I find? One time, I was working down at the Costco at Center. And I went, this was like 2007. I went to try to find some coffee on the way, and I went to this place. I think it was literally called Espresso or Coffee something. And I walk in, and they're smoking indoors. Weird already. And then I noticed there's a lot of like older men gambling on stuff and like lottery and like I'm like, this is not. And then a very scantily clad, very skinny, like 16 or 17-year-old Asian girl comes up to me and she's like, hi, how can I help you? And I'm like, can I get like coffee? And she's like, yeah, and she like fumbles into the back and gets me some coffee, brings it. I'm like, can I have like, do you have any like milk or anything? There's not. She like went into the back and I think she literally brought me like a jug of milk, not even like a container, a carafe. Like this was not a coffee spot, man. This was a place where white people should not go. Yeah. It was very strange. Yeah, that was a weird experience. But yeah, how do you navigate like the culture difference around here? Like obviously you're Latino, but let's to be real, like you kind of act like I find myself like, even though I'm half Puerto Rican, I don't really act very Puerto Rican. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I kind of act. Yeah. I kind of feel a little bit just kind of more American than anything.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, like my grandfather was born here. My great-grandfather was born here, and my great-great-grandfather was born here.
Okay.
So it's just like there's no really left. I mean, hence we eat the food, Mexican food, whatever. But other than that, there's like no really, culture or like the quinceañeras or stuff like that.
Really?
Nobody takes part in that. So it's just like, I find that I'm more American, and because of that, that's where the whole conservative values came into place. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't feel like bad, and I don't get why I'm supposed to feel bad for, like, abortion as an example. Like, that's one of the more heated topics, and these days, especially, Crowder did some good videos last week about it. But, like, that's one of those that's, like, an of course moment with liberals where it's like, of course you're pro-choice. Of course you agree with us when it comes to this. And I'm like, that's one of the things I'm actually more conservative about. I'm not saying that no people should ever be allowed to ever kill their baby, but like, call it what it is. Like, you are killing a kid, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I keep seeing these memes of people sharing this stuff, but it's making like good points. Yeah. If I pull out of this driveway right now and there's a pregnant lady driving and she's 9 months pregnant and I smack into her car and she dies and her baby dies, I am responsible for 2 lives. I am now going to prison for probably double life. And so why wouldn't it count for a life if someone was volunteering to kill the baby? Just call it what it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's creepy how that is, dude. It's really creepy. What's the one topic you find like you Like, obviously, you said you do economics best. Do you find that there's one that gets more heated than other topics?
Yep.
Which one?
Trump.
Trump. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So besides the conservative values, where do you stand on Trump-wise?
You know, I feel like I'm with you. I feel like he's not well versed in some things that he says. He's
Mhm.
not, probably the most polished the conservative politician that we've seen.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's been better,
Mhm.
but I feel like because he at least had he wasn't as radical as Hillary was, and honestly, I was saying it like comparing the two evils, even
Mhm.
closer to that side of it, but that he was not gonna abort babies is mainly my because murder is a sin. So,
Right.
yeah. And so that's where I stand. And also, I mean, he has good points about Latino MS-13 gang members and stuff like that. That's the mainly used quote at my school is, "Oh, they're all racist." And
Oh,
that
you mean
he
they're
said
all
that.
rapists?
Rapists, sorry.
Right.
Rapists, yeah. And so then
Yeah, he didn't say that. Like, that's one of those that like, oh wait, no, they hang their hat on the rapist thing. It's on video. Like, you can look it up. It's not that. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
He didn't say all Mexicans are rapists. He didn't. He did not say that. I don't know why that one would be so like. I don't know if you've ever done any digging, but like you can start dig a little bit. People, not you, because you're a guest. You're already an expert like me. But like, there is I started digging a little bit into like, okay, Trump examples racism. Google go, and started realizing like the examples that they use or the points that they use don't make any sense. Like they do not. That doesn't spell. Like that stuff. Like, have you ever seen the one about the not the Memphis 3, the Central Park 5 or something like that? The kids back in the late 80s, I think, early 90s, who got in trouble. They had gotten in trouble as if they had raped somebody, and it turns out, I guess, that they hadn't. But when everyone believed that they were guilty, Trump called for their them to be put to death.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's one of those other things that people hang their hat on. It's because they were black. It's like, no, I think he just was. Even if he was wrong, he was hanging his hat on the crime angle. If they were really raping, killing people, like that's why he was anti. Like, you can't just say, well, because they're close or because they both could be true, they are both true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's that dumb phrase? Causation doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, I'm dumb. It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
So it's Trump. So you feel like you personally was more anti-Hillary than you were pro-Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you feel these days?
Same thing, but more. I feel like his policies, because I see my parents and my grandparents' paycheck and the tax cut. I mean, I've seen it myself. That they've told me that, you know what, we're getting more out of our money, and we're getting, it's better. And so a lot of it is like, okay, if they tell me it's better, it's gonna be better for me in the future. Like when I'm starting to work. So that's what I think, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what you want to do?
Not yet, but I was considering law or accounting. So yeah.
Well, you're already practicing your arguing, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that was one of the things that this year they signed me up for this class. It was law and society, and they pushed the society part pretty hard. Like, they were like, let's find social. I was like, oh, this is not what I signed up for, but then I have to do it because it's a class now.
See, that
so
sucks
like,
that you can't
horrible.
even. Like, why would your grade ride on what you believe?
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
And no, but it doesn't, because I'm just like, I'll do an essay on and
Oh, so you're faking it?
And the assignment? No.
Oh, okay.
No. The assignments are always left. Like, there's no right assignments. Because,
What's an example you think?
find the inequalities in the pay gap between men and women. And it's like, I was like, well, can I write an essay on why there is no pay gap in men and women? Like, or and he was like, yeah, sure, if you can find like points. And
really?
so
okay,
like,
so at that level, he's okay.
Yeah.
All right, but
But I have to come up with the alternative, and I have to do all that extra work in writing an essay instead of filling out 3 or 4 questions.
Right. What about when it comes to, because one of the things you said that when we started talking was that at the group level, like at the class level, when everyone's talking, they won't let you talk.
Yeah.
So what are some examples of that, or sometimes that happened?
Yeah. Okay. So one time we were in class and we were talking about abortion, which he shouldn't have brought up because like there's not
that's
a
not
more
a safe,
sensitive.
That's not right.
He could have started with like freaking, I don't know, selling Starbucks straws or something like that.
Right.
But he brought it up and we were on the topic and everyone, like, we went around the room and I don't know, people were like, okay, well, it's their choice and whatever, going off on the liberal rant. And so then I was like, well, actually it's not. And he's like, oh, hold on, wait. We'll do the left side first and then we'll do your turn. I'm the only one on my side, Let me go first, and then after them, let all of them go first, And I mean, I guess he has a point where like all of them should have gone first, but that's unfair to me, I'm just like, just balance it out a little bit.
So did you get the same amount of time?
No, because all of them had like, okay, 1, 2,
that
3.
had even if it was 5 minutes apiece, that's 5 times 73 versus
versus one. Yeah.
Did you have social backlash because of that class?
Social
like within your peers?
No, not really. I mean,
okay,
man. So you want to tell another story? Actually,
please.
I'm on Instagram. We follow each other, and
right.
I had, coming out of middle school, I had 1,000 followers, and it's not bad, But I was moving up there in the ranks of our social, whatever, like,
Right.
And then
By the way, don't judge your value based on that. I mean, I know we all do, but just be careful with that.
Yeah.
Be careful with that. Continue.
Yeah. And then, so then I posted, or we were at the movies when the election was going on. And so then I was like, oh, it's getting closer, like that, right? And to my family, because my family follows me on Instagram. And then after, I was like, he did it. This is a main post, and I was like, he did. I didn't know that it was gonna make any effect. And I was like, he did it. Hashtag Make America Great Again. Hashtag 2020 again.
Okay.
Hashtag whatever.
Right.
I posted that picture, and 4 days later, I'm now at like 500 followers.
Nice.
Or like 463 followers or something like that. And
yeah.
So I was like, that's fake friends,
Right.
But still, it's just like how concentrated their view is so hard to get past,
But that is true. But there is a big difference between like having it be what people will like. I'd rather at least have it to my face than have it. So like, as an example, did you hear me talking about the I don't know if you've listened to the last 2 episodes.
No, I haven't. Not yet.
So I posted on Facebook, I keep talking about this, but there's a saga. There's a continuous saga, boys and girls. So I talked about it. I put on Instagram, I have this thing called Controversial Opinion Wednesdays, and I posted on Instagram that I don't think, even though there are some female rappers that are good, none of them, like all of them, pale in comparison to the good male rappers. And I'm not saying that because I don't think female rappers should try, or I don't think that they give a fuck, but I'm saying like, see, I'm trying to cuss. I'm trying not to cuss. But I will, but like, it's the idea that I think it comes from a place of interest, that more men are like interested in pushing the level and pushing the envelope and making rap great again. Like they're more interested in pushing the envelope and giving a care about lyrics and rhyming and all that stuff. Like it's more. I think so far anyway, more about that. And so a bunch of females got mad at me. Many of them still follow me on Instagram. But a couple of them blocked me. And so I reached out to them because I tried to talk to them on that post about like, hey, I get what you're saying, but let me explain what I mean. Don't just say, he said female bad, misogyny, duh. Like, let me listen to the words I'm saying. Listen to the words that are written down. In fact, I many times I was like, I did not say that females cannot be good at rap. I just said blah, blah, blah. So I reached out. So one of them blocked me. The other one I think was my friend, and she blocked me. So I reached out to a couple of the girls who were like, hey, come on my show. Let's talk about it. Like, come on my show and let's discuss it. Let's fight it out. Let's be legit. You can bring multiple. I said it in the messages. Bring 3 of you and let's just have it 3 angry female rappers against Pete. Like, let's do it, you know? But one of them read messages, no answer back. The other one is block. Like, there's no, won't even read the message. So, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'd rather, let's just talk. Like, don't do it passively. Don't be a fucking, I'm sorry. Don't be a baby. Let's talk. You know what I mean? So, how often, I mean, obviously you had, like, that strong chunk in, okay, we're going to unfollow evil Latino racist. But, like, what about in person? How often does someone confront you in person?
Now I'm called Trump lover. Like
Okay.
like you know that's the thing now. Oh, what's up? What happened with your boy? What happened with And I'm just like, my boy. I never said that. I just said that.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
And so then, but after that, confrontations just became like once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. It's only when people talk about him that I seek the need to at least defend him. Not even defend him, but like sometimes on stuff that I believe is right.
Right. Do you follow We the Internet?
No.
There's a great video they did where they're talking about, hey, here's this here, stop making me defend Trump is the name of the video. It's great. And they're like, yeah, I think it's this guy at his this office where one of the girls is like, yeah, he said that all Mexicans were rapists, and then he's like, well, I mean, I'm not a fan of Trump, but he didn't say that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. And even this goes to, by the way, this is a message for all the people, because there are a couple of fans of the podcast who message me continuously about, like, I don't understand what your vision is on Trump. Like, just because I don't hate the dude doesn't mean he's my dude. Just because I agree with some of the things he does doesn't mean he's my dude. Hitler probably chose great breakfast cereal. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was a good artist. You know what I mean? Apparently, but like, just because there are some things doesn't mean it's a wholesale belief or he's my guy.
Yeah.
But like, when you look at the landscape, even of 2020, when you look at the landscape, nope, I'm not going Bernie. I'm not going Beto. I'm not going Hillary. I'm not going what's his face, Biden. I'm not doing any of those people. Ew, get away from me. The worst one is Cory Booker. Oh, that guy's gross, dude.
Yeah.
Just like the biggest, and he makes the white liberals like shaking their boots like black guy angry. He must be right, black guy angry. Duh. Like, no, I'm not intimidated just because of the color of your skin. I listen to the words you're saying, and I agree or I disagree, and I'm not gonna be a little baby about it. Here, let me. This thing resets usually at 38, so I'm gonna stop it, and then. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll go a few more minutes if you're down with it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to just get some pizza. I've had
Round Table around here at Capitol.
I'm not.
Bomb.
There's no coffee at Round Table. What do you?
You said pizza.
Oh no, I meant Pete's.
Oh, Pete's. Oh
yeah.
My God. Oh.
No. If I eat pizza, like, I will sleep on the highway right now, dude. I'm so tired. Yeah. I am literally gonna die. Yeah. How do you live? Have you lived here the whole time?
Yep.
Okay.
1 year I lived in Texas. Greatest year of my life. No.
Did you really? Did you really live it? Okay.
Yeah.
What
I was
town?
too young.
Okay.
Histoon.
All right.
But I was too young to be in any of that. But I saw the different epidemic. I saw the willing, Hispanic community, and even my family in Texas. They're Mexican, and they know a bunch of communities that agree. I know there's some communities here, or in California at least, that there's a little bit more conservative. But
do you run into, obviously you run into issues at the school? Do you run into issues in your family, or like at gatherings and stuff?
No, there's just a few that have escaped our our religion, and they left, so that now they're all conservative, and
I see.
Well,
I thought you were.
I mean liberal.
They're all okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, confused me. All right. Yeah. I guess there are a lot of. I find that too, like where like for me, when I turned atheist, it wasn't, and I'm not anymore, but like when I turned atheist, it was more coming from a place of anger. It was more coming from a place of anger at life and at the system and at my uncomfortability as a human being and my fear and my anger and my sadness and all that, like kind of honestly untreated alcoholism, which kind of put me in a place where I was like, screw this, screw God, screw all the, I would listen to George Carlin for a lot of stuff.
Oh.
And I love George, but like, I was just angry. And there's a difference between knowing something like from logic or like we were talking about earlier, coming from a place of feelings alone. And I didn't realize that that's what I was doing when I was doing it. So sometimes people go anti-Christian or anti-Catholicism and they automatically 100% say, well, then that means there must be no nothing.
Yep. Yeah.
Have you read anything about the New Zealand stuff? I haven't. I haven't even
even
started to
It's
like.
too much to unpack right now. I'm
That's what
busy.
I'm saying, dude. Oh God, how freeing! Have you ever listened to Patrice O'Neill? Because I mentioned him on like I
Patrice
don't mean
O'Neal,
to, but like every single episode.
I mean, yeah, I've heard you mention him, but I haven't.
So Patrice is a big black comedian, died in 2011, best comedian that ever lived, in my personal opinion. And one of the things he talked about was like, sometimes there's this natural disaster and he wants to care and he knows he should, but he just can't make himself care. Like that's how I feel about not New Zealand necessarily. I'll get there or whatever. But like often it's like when it's a big story like that, number one, it's far away. Like I know interpersonally I should feel bad and I do, and I don't want anyone to ever die, especially with violence or whatever. But it's far away. We've got stuff here that, you know what I mean? We've got shootings here that we're not, you know what I mean? Like, so a piece of me is like, I don't want to. But yeah, that's one of those where it's like, too much has happened, and I'll get there eventually, but I just don't have it in me right now. I just don't have it in me right now.
And everyone's like, we should raise awareness, and we should do this, and we should even start raising money for the people. And I'm like, there's people there. There's people in New Zealand. Like, let them. I mean, me as a person, I mean, I honestly feel bad because there's like people dying and all that stuff. But I don't,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and I think maybe that's coming from like we were talking about earlier about the feelings thing. When there's immediately when I'm supposed to feel something, immediately I'm like, screw you. I'm not doing that. I don't believe in. I don't have to feel something that you want me to feel, even if it's something that I know I should feel. I can't make myself feel something that's not genuine.
Yep.
And I'm certainly not going to let you pressure me into feeling that way. Screw that. Like I'm a human being. I have my own feelings. I have my own issues. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of talk. Listen to this. Bonnie McFarlane, most hilarious female, and she talks about how, like, and a lot of comedians talk about someone will sit in a stand-up audience. They'll sit in a stand-up audience and listen to a stand-up comedian talk about race and talk about death and talk about gender and talk about all kinds of stuff. But then when they get to their topic, then all of a sudden, no, that's a taboo topic. And you don't understand because it affects me. It's self-centeredness. And yet they want everybody in the room to like move to the sway.
Yeah.
It's just unfair.
Yeah.
It's just unfair. How do you feel like, because I remember, you're how old? You're 16?
16, yep.
I remember being 16, like, how do you, two things. How do you care about something? Because I didn't care. I'm 32 and I don't care. Oh my God, I'm double your age. Jesus. Eli, I'm old, man. I'm going to die. I'm like close to death. Anyway, so that's number one. Number two, how do you walk through, like, you don't seem like you were you bullied a lot when you were a kid?
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. See, you don't seem like, you had to run into that. What do you feel like the reason why is? Or maybe are you one of the popular kids?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more popular than most. Yeah, but
well, you're in the right car.
But
so you didn't run into that, even though people call you the Trump boy or whatever the hell. Do you feel like so you're not even bullied now?
Yeah, no, I'm more the freaking yelled at in the hallway. F you, or screw you, all the you racist, and that's what I don't like. Is I don't like when I'm being falsely accused of stuff. So then I'll just commonly, just talk to them, And that's where I'm coming from.
Have you ever had someone be straight up emotional right out the gate and then been able to calm them down? Has that?
Yeah.
Oh, it has happened. Okay.
Yeah, it has happened. But one time I was talking to this girl about abortion, and she was talking about how her mom recently went through an abortion and it always comes back to either abortion or I don't know, friggin' Trump. Yeah, one of the two.
Right.
Being emotional about either their family being Mexican or somebody in their family going through an abortion. And so then this girl, she just came up to me and she was like we were talking and she was like, Eli, my mom went, and then she was talking.
Right.
My mom went through an abortion and how all of this stuff. I think that because she wasn't able to sustain her own life,
Right.
and take that baby away, it's fine. And I was like, well, listen, here, there's benefits, and I went into the whole. I don't want to get into it here because it's too long of a topic, But
Right.
but I went into all the only rape is 1% and all that stuff, the statistics that Crowder gives and all that stuff.
Right.
And so then she seemed to
meaning of abortions, people are like, well, don't get rid of abortion because what about rape victims?
Yeah.
And rape victims make up 1% or less of
way to clarify
of actual of abortion of abortions.
And also that it's her choice, it's her body.
Right.
And it's not,
Right. No, that is
Yeah.
a living thing
Yeah.
inside of a body.
Yep.
But yeah.
And I always bring up the point where, like, okay, if you shoot me, if you shoot me, like Crowder gave this point, and he's like, if you shoot me, I have the right to kill you, and obviously not, if you shoot me, I don't have the right to kill you, and so the same thing with the baby. If it's gonna hurt your life, you don't have the right to kill the baby, and I remember him giving that point, and so then I told her all this stuff, and at the end, she actually seemed kind of on my side, which it felt good. It felt like a win, yeah.
Yeah, if I was okay, so if you're not allowed to shoot me right now, if I crawled inside of a woman, like if I crawled inside of a woman, are you allowed to kill me inside of the woman? Like if she was able to stretch herself, like say we got a midget, say we got Peter Dinklage, we shave him, we get him nice and slippery, and we get him to lose weight a little bit, and we push him inside of somebody. At that point, are we allowed to kill Peter Dinklage because he's inside of someone else? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And the other thing they say to counter that is, it's not a living thing. And I'm just like,
right.
and that's a whole science thing. And I'm well studied on it, but they're not. And so then after we go through that, and then it's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, there's this girl I was hanging out with last night, and like as far as the gender thing, like there's no difference between men and women. It's just a social construct.
Hold on. Pause.
Not just like they can gestate life, but I'm talking about on a realistic basis. When it comes to females, they know they can take their temperature to know if they're ovulating or not. Like you can literally, like that's some science, man. That's insane. That's talking about like you can know when your body is ready to make another body or not, and like try to trajectorize like it is that's insane. Like no, my body does not change temperatures when it's ready to make a baby or not, man. Oh man,
Eli, transgender unconservatives. No.
I've had trans.
Yeah?
I had a trans comic named Morgan. She's a great gal, but
you get into pronouns, hate speech, and all that stuff, and it's just like it's a never-ending losing battle.
Bottom line is that don't take away my ability to talk about it, about anything. Don't take away my ability to joke about it, and I will say my right as well. And I don't say like rights very often, but like legit ass like America is. We are allowed. We have the right. Technically, the Bill of Rights says this is all built so that we can say whatever we want as long as we're not hurting someone else or inciting violence. We can do whatever we want. You can feel free to listen. You can feel free to not listen. You can feel free to change the channel. Unless you're Facebook. I've been trying to unfollow Now This. Do you know that company? Now This?
Now This. Yeah.
Similar to BuzzFeed and Vox,
Like
I have
Just In.
successfully unfollowed Vox and BuzzFeed, but no matter how many times I block or unfollow or hide posts that people share from Now This, it refuses to get rid of that company. And I've messaged Facebook specifically. I'm sorry, I've messaged their bot of their robots. That and they'd be like, "Oh, actually, you've already unfollowed." Like, I know I've unfollowed.
It didn't work. Like,
anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, it's insane. We're all gonna die. But yeah, I guess we'll start wrapping up.
All right.
If you're down with that, do you have anything else you want to share with the children?
Yeah, man. It's a hard world out there. I could share end with a story about one time I was in class and the substitute, I messaged you about this. The substitute teacher, she came in and she was like, African American woman I have to point that out. Mm-hmm. And she was talking mad trash about Trump and the General Motors issue with the sales going down and the workers from General Motors hating him because the jobs are leaving the country.
What was the class, by the way?
She was just an English class. I'm like, yeah, this is not my if you were in my Law and Society class, go ahead and talk about this. But because this is English,
can we read? Yeah, can we read
can we get
Romeo
back to
and
Gatsby?
Juliet? Yeah, I know. Jesus. Anyway, continue.
I want to read Gatsby. No. Yeah. And so then she just goes on and talks about this. And I was like, well, actually, no, it's not. It's not because of that. It's because GM couldn't make a car that people wanted to buy. So then they closed that certain factory down. And the people knew that. And they just seemed but throughout this, I'm talking like this. Like I'm just talking like, oh, but
you right.
And she just cuts me off. But this and this and this and this, and I have the recorded audio on my man. So then I was just like, okay, whatever. This person, sorry, not to say names, but and so then and it just got heated, and so then after that, it was just like people were recording it on Snapchat and hashtags, whatever. And so then I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like what? Like you give yourself that power by being a substitute to talk about something that you disagree about without giving me the opportunity to talk. And it's just like that's never-ending battle.
Right. But I even though Jim Norton and I listen to Jim and Sam a lot, and Jim talks about how this has been going this direction for a long time, and it's not going to change. I have a feeling, though, I think he's wrong about that, and here's why. Because I do see, like, the fact that Steven Crowder, think whatever you want about him, but Steven Crowder, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, these are people who are having success outside of the mainstream. Yeah. These are people who are having success outside of what we're supposed to. These are because you can voluntarily listen to this podcast. You can voluntarily listen to Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Jordan Peterson. You can volunteer. You can sign up. You can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservative.
Hey, right here.
There's a lot. There are a lot of times where like people who are. They don't want to just see the same links. They don't want to hear the same voices. They don't want to hear somebody who's a high schooler, who's a conservative, talking about not being allowed to talk in class. Like they want to have that experience. They want to know what's going on outside of what they're being fed. And so there are success. I feel like it is turning around, but we just have to keep being willing to have the uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
We have to keep being willing to say the uncomfortable thing. We have to keep being willing to stick our neck out there. And I'm willing to stick my neck out there,
me too,
and I'm having fun doing it too. So,
yeah,
thanks so much, Eli, for coming on the show.
Of course, dude. Hopefully we can get our boy reelected 2020. We out here. Our vote. There goes the camera. Woo, ayo. Hopefully,
that's what I get, man.
Hopefully we can get him reelected.
I really do. I kind of feel that way, man. I kind of feel like I want to get. I don't see any other. I don't see any other about anybody who I'm actually down for.
And I'll be 18. I'll be in that ballot box. And
you will?
Yep.
Good for you, dude.
That doesn't matter here, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Every vote counts.
All right, well, good. I appreciate you being a part of this, and keep listening. And again, you can, if you're listening, you can follow me at Instagram at Peter_Feliciano.
Great guy.
I know I'm amazing. I'm so great. And you can hear me singing on the 29th of March at where am I singing? Vino Locale in Palo Alto, 7 to 9. Follow me or support us at patreon.com/conservatish. And yeah, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.